Welcome back to another movie reaction. So this is not going to be a made-for-TV movie reaction. In the last 2 days I have spent quite a bit of time going over my made-for-TV movie list and searching them out and finding basically nothing available. I'm not quite done with that yet, but it's not looking very good, so I'm going to end up eventually going through Amazon or whatever and actually purchasing some of them that I want to see. So that's a drag, but be that as it may, it did, searching for that led me to a couple of sci-fi movies, early 50s and 60s, flying saucer movies. I love those things. We've seen a few of those. So today we're going to watch one, and probably the next one will be another sci-fi flying saucer movie. So today we have The 27th Day, and this is from 1957, I do believe. I'll have to double check that. Don't know what it's all about, don't know who's in it, so we're going to just get started with it and check it out. So it's really pretty warm this morning. It's 3:10 a.m., the perfect time for a movie reaction. We're having triple-digit afternoon temperatures once again for these remaining days of August. So hopefully that'll change soon. I don't like the heat, I like the winter. Alright, well, let's get on to The 27th Day. See what this is going to be about. Put our hearing devices in and we're ready to go. Columbia Pictures. Don't recognize those names. Or any of those names either. Oh, nice beach scene. And of course the necessary pretty young lady.
How do you like it, Eve?
Lovely. What is it?
My impression of the coastline of Cornwall.
Oh, Harry, darling, you painted the entire coastline.
Cornwall must be
I've yet to see anything
England,
that looks like a wave.
sounds like.
Never mind. Keep on trying. I'm going for a walk.
You've absolutely no appreciation for modern art.
Well, are we going to get like a shotgun start here to the horror movie? If it is considered a horror movie, it didn't say. Oh, it looks like it might be a horror movie.
Miss Wingate, come with me, please.
Uh-oh.
2 sugars? 3. I like your style, Pete. Someday you'll be the boss of the Los Angeles Record Telegram.
Thanks for the cup.
Mr. Clark,
Yeah? What's
Uh-oh.
that?
my name is of no importance, Mr. Clark, but I must ask you to come with me.
The shadowy figure again.
Sultan, come with
Oh, and
me.
again the
Sultan.
shadow.
Well, I'm ready. At least I remember to take my notes with me to America. Perhaps the greatest single step toward achieving communication between the planets.
Professor, your plane to America, 3 o'clock?
Between the planets.
It would be
he
difficult to
said.
get there without it, huh?
Well, Professor, have a nice trip, and we'll hear from you soon, huh?
Thank you, Dr. Schmidt. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Professor,
Well, here's the
Professor
shadow.
Beckley.
Even before it appeared, I
Someone
knew it was gonna
call
be
me?
there.
Professor, I'm afraid you'll have to interrupt your departure for America.
Interrupt? But why?
I'm afraid it's not quite that simple.
This is kind of borderlining on
Ivan,
the subject of cheesy, I guess.
you are in no danger, Ivan Godowski.
Halt! Or I'll fire!
Your gun will not help.
Oh boy. saucer look very remarkably like the saucers in... I know that guy. The saucers in... The Earth versus the Flying Saucers. The character on the left. The guy looks like the actor that was in War of the Worlds, perhaps.
Excuse me, aren't you Professor Klaus Beckner?
It might not be, though.
But what are we doing here? Where are we?
I don't know. I was writing a column in
No,
the
it
office
is.
of the Los Angeles Record Telegram.
tell
Somebody
his
spoke
voice.
to me. Next thing I knew, I woke up here.
Los
I'm
Angeles?
not familiar with his name.
I was in
so-
England.
And I, my dear, was in Koblenz.
But how?
The how, I suspect we may never understand.
Yeah,
What
I've
interests
seen
me
the
now
War of
is
the Worlds
why?
numerous times. It's like the
It's pretty obvious
Granddaddy
where
of
you're from, my
Alien.
dear.
flying saucer
you,
type
so-
things. Well, here we go. It's the typical flying saucer movies that I love so
People
much.
of
Got
Earth.
to see
Permit me to explain your presence.
quite a
here.
number of those growing
Each
up
of you
as
is
a kid.
hearing my words in his or her native tongue.
Early late show,
Who
or
are you?
whatever it was.
Since I'm a stranger to each of you, perhaps it would be simplest to call me the alien.
Where are you from?
The name of the planet I come from is unknown to you, one of many worlds in a nearby universe.
So
Where
if I
are we
did
now?
see this, I don't
In
recognize it.
space,
I don't believe it.
And
If
it would have
it
been
is.
50 years or more ago.
It's the Earth.
don't be frightened. You'll be sent back to Earth absolutely unharmed. Furthermore, no measurable time by earthly standards will pass while you're here.
Is such a thing possible?
You're traveling at almost exactly the speed of light. At such a speed, time, as you know it, does not exist.
Theoretically, but in actuality.
Why have we been brought here?
If you'll kindly be seated, I'll try to explain. You five are here in effect as representatives, not of your particular countries, but as representatives of the human race.
Then you have come to Earth to establish contact.
Oh, no, Professor. We are here to help
Those,
you save your beautiful planet.
You talk as if
Stands
the
or
Earth were
whatever
about to be
we
destroyed.
see.
That danger exists. Your entire
The
history is
floor
one of
looks like they're
self-destruction.
holding a
You have
boiled
now
egg,
what you
the
believe to be the ultimate
boiled
weapon.
egg bowl so you can eat
H-bomb.
eat it, the egg
If
out
you
of your
destroy
out of the shell.
yourselves, you also destroy the Earth. And that we cannot permit,
That's what they look like.
for it is needed.
Needed?
The universe in which my world exists is dying. Soon our sun will be going into nova and explode.
Therefore, your people need a new world.
Within 35 days.
Then you're going to invade us.
Oh, no. No, our moral code does not permit us to invade, nor to destroy any form of intelligent
The
life. We are
alien
prepared
actor
to
is
lend you a weapon. A weapon which will
kind of
permit
familiar
you
to
to
me, although I
destroy
don't know his
yourselves
name.
without harming your planet. This weapon affects only human life. Nothing else will be harmed.
Yeah.
It will be loaned to you for 27 of the 35 days remaining to us.
I believe
If at the
he
end of that
played
time, midnight of the 27th day, Greenwich time,
Kotos
you've not used it,
or
the weapon will
Caridian, he had
automatically become harmless.
an alias name.
You are under no compulsion
Yeah.
to make use of the weapon.
Yet you
Star
think we
Trek,
will.
the original
We
series.
cannot hope for disaster.
The name of it
We
was,
merely expect it.
Say you're wrong. Say the 27 days go
Conscience
by
of the
and we
King,
don't
I
use
believe
the weapon.
that's the same
What happens
actor.
then?
Your race will live. Mine will die.
Who are you going to give the weapons to?
The weapons, one apiece, will be given to each of you. You may, of course, turn them over to your governments. But the decision is yours. The weapons are yours to do with as you wish.
I've noticed that quite a few of these early flying saucer movies deal with this type of subject where the alien is here to make a deal with us. Basically, we need to behave ourselves or else.
Not yet, Professor. I
think
can
that's what's
understand your
happening
curiosity, but they're protected by a force field. Each of the boxes is tuned to the electrical impulse. Now, Professor, the one to your left is yours. Ivan Godovsky, the next is yours. Eve Wingate, the next is yours. Sutan, you too. The last is yours, Jonathan Clark. Each of you holds in your hands the power of life and death. Each box contains 3 capsules. They are the weapon. They surpass by many times the power of anything your race has yet created. Each of the capsules has a diameter of lethal radiation, which is exactly 3,000 miles. There is then, in the combined capsules, more than enough power to wipe out all human life on your planet. To use the capsules, you remove the spindle, place the capsule down, speak loudly and clearly, the latitude and longitude in the center of the target area. The energy thus launched takes only human life, damages nothing else. It cannot be opened by ordinary means, Professor. Only your own thought waves will actuate the release mechanism. No other force on your Earth is capable of opening the box. But once it has been opened, anyone can pull the spindle, and any voice can launch them to their targets.
What if we die?
If any one of you is called by death, the capsules will become ineffective immediately.
One more question, please. Do we have your solemn word that if we succeed in keeping the peace for 27 days, Earth will be free of invasion?
You have my word, Professor.
27 days. You ask us to learn in 27 days what has escaped the world for thousands of years. You ask us to practice peace or die.
The choice is not new, Professor. Only the weapons. Now, if you'll forgive me, time is short. Will you be kind enough to return to your seats, and you'll be sent back to Earth?
Well, what is going on? Hell if I know. I mean, it seems pretty clear, I guess. What are they supposed to do? You can't just yank people off the street and expect them
Jonathan, I forgot your
to do
last
something
name.
like this, I guess.
Clark, Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, that's definitely the flying saucer from the Earth versus the flying saucers. I think I would have just buried that in the sand and hope I would wake up from this nightmare. Yeah. I'm sure that's going to have consequences as far as the alien is concerned. And now this poor victim of war. she took a knife and stabbed herself.
Professor? Professor, we have to hurry to catch the plane. Yes, of course.
You fired that shot?
Yes.
What happened? I thought I saw something. You saw something? I guess I was mistaken.
City room, Clark.
Mr. Jonathan Clark?
Yes?
Just a moment, Mr. Clark. I have a paid call for you from Cornwall, England.
Cornwall, England. All right, I'll take the call.
Your party is on the line. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Clark?
Eh?
Mr. Jonathan Clark?
That's right.
This is Eve Wingate. Do you remember me?
Why, of course I do. Oh, how did you know where to find me?
Well, I remembered you said you were working, and so I took a chance on telephoning you. Look, I'm going to come to California.
Now, be sensible, Miss Wingate. Stay where you are.
Look, I can't. I've made it reservations on the midnight plane from London, and I'm coming anyway. I'm leaving tonight.
Now, wait a minute.
I can't talk now.
Awfully strange.
Afternoon, Mr. Clark.
Hi, Jim.
What do you have today?
Let me have a steak sandwich, medium rare.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Joe, fix the television, will you?
Nothing but trouble.
This is an announcement of the most vital importance.
Sure it is.
All television, radio, and telephone communications throughout the world have been interrupted so that this transmission can be made. People of Earth, I am an alien from outer space.
What's he selling? Flying saucers?
36 hours ago, 5 members of the human race were transported from Earth to the space vessel from which I'm speaking. Each of them has since been returned to Earth, bearing with them information of concern to every human being on your planet. These 5 people are Evelyn Wingate of Cornwall, England, Professor Klaus Bechner of Germany, Su Tan of the province of Kunming, China, Jonathan Clark of Los Angeles, California, and Private Ivan Godovsky, a soldier from behind the Iron Curtain.
Oh, wow, that was quite a stuntman stunt there.
Going somewhere, Private Godovsky?
Good evening. This is Ward Mason. Word just in confirms that the strange broadcast that has startled the world has been heard throughout the Iron Curtain and the satellite countries. As to the question, was it real? The answer must now be held to be yes. Insofar as can now be determined, the alien, whoever or whatever he is, effectively managed to blanket every facet of the Earth's communication facilities for the 10 minutes in which he had his say. This has been confirmed by the FCC. The FCC's officials privately admit they are now convinced that the alien spoke from a point somewhere beyond and outside of the Earth's atmosphere. One thing is uppermost in the minds of the millions of people who saw and heard the alien. Where are the 5 people whose names he kept repeating? Who do they know? What do they know? Meanwhile, here in this country, the search for Jonathan Clark has been intensified. Clark, a newspaperman, disappeared from a downtown Los Angeles restaurant during the alien's broadcast and is assumed to be in...
Well, I guess it's not a bad dream after all.
Does this thing work?
Yes.
Well, it might be. Maybe it's continuing on.
Heaven's name's that?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Music, almost. What's the matter?
You look different.
Well, of course, I'm disguised.
Oh, you shaved off your mustache.
The best I can do under the
Mustache.
circumstances.
What are we going to do?
I wish I knew. Since 1 o'clock this afternoon, I've been public enemy number 1.
A racetrack. It's the last place on earth I would have thought of coming to.
That's the general idea.
You sure nobody will know we're about?
Well, not even the horses are here out of season. Are you okay? Come on, let's go.
So they all seem to be in kind of a run and hide mode. Because do they know what to do?
How many of those?
Just 2. They have regular
I don't even
hours, but we can
remember what
avoid
they're
them.
supposed to do.
You're awfully well informed, aren't you?
I used to cover the track for my paper. I spent a lot of that time and my money here. Come on, let's go.
So nothing, of course, here looks recognizable whatsoever. So I must not have seen this.
I hope this works. Welcome to Shangri-La, our home for the next 25 days. Crazy, isn't it?
Just can't believe it.
You're lucky the horses aren't here. Say, blankets, humankind. Which floor would Madam prefer, the upstairs or downstairs?
Look, before we really settle down, I think we better start by rearranging the furniture, don't you?
One duplex coming up.
Oh, somebody's there. Oh, he's punching a, he's putting his key in a watch clock. When I got out of high school, went to work in a factory,
Goes
and
around
I
every hour
transferred to
on the
the
hour.
security section.
I'd
of the
almost
factory.
forgotten we were hiding.
I know what
I
you
was a
mean.
night watchman. And even though we didn't use the stop or the watch clocks, there were various of them, old ones mounted all around the building.
Miss Wingate was seen hurling a small object into the sea. Her gentleman friend, Harry Bellows, who witnessed the incident,
You were required
reported
to
that the
go
girl appeared highly distraught.
to
The
each
populations of
station at
Rockhurst Cove
over
and
an
other
hour or
coastal
whatever.
communities are being evacuated on the
Put your key
assumption
in
that the
there, and
object
that's
might
why
very
they
well have
know
been
that
mine.
you'd been there.
Les plus larges spéculations ont été faites des 2 côtés de la Manche. Le Quai d'Orsay a annoncé qu'il n'y avait aucune raison d'inquiétude dans la région normande et bretonne.
Late reports from England confirm that there has been sporadic rioting. British government sources indicate they believe the Wingate girl might have been acting under the aliens' orders. Miss Wingate is believed to be hiding with Jonathan Clark, who has been missing several days. The British have assumed that the object in question was a weapon.
All we have to do is get rid of our capsules, huh?
But such panic.
What do you expect? Reason? Discipline? Restraint?
She threw hers in the ocean, didn't she?
Those people out there, I feel sorry for them. Well, I do. They're bound with fear. They're frightened, every one of them. Ever since the alien came into their lives, they've been waiting for they don't know what.
Those characters you're feeling sorry for are so full of hate they'd lynch us if they could get their hands on us.
I know. Forgotten how easily hate comes alive.
People hate because they fear, and they fear anything they don't understand, which is almost everything.
You're not terribly fond of people, are you?
Right now, I can take them or leave them.
If you fully understand the concern that has gripped the world.
It is because of that concern that I must withhold my information.
The White House feels that you should give us some idea of the aliens' mission. Don't you see that by remaining silent, you create even more apprehension?
I see it, Mr. Ingram, but unfortunately there is nothing I can do about it.
I have no choice but to trust your judgment, Professor. However, there are a few questions I must ask. I hope you'll at least try to answer them.
I will if I can.
Does the alien in any way constitute a menace to our society?
I have already said that their ethic does not permit them to harm any form of intelligent life.
Is this box or its contents dangerous to our security?
The box and the contents cannot in themselves be harmful to anyone.
You must realize, Professor, that there is at least one, and probably two of these boxes behind the Iron Curtain.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Newhouse.
We've given the box every test we can think of, without success. It can't even be scratched, let alone opened. We'll keep on trying, but my personal opinion is we get nowhere. What is your opinion, Professor?
I am sure that if the world's foremost atomic scientist has been unsuccessful, there is no physical force which will be more effective than those already tried. However...
Yes?
Mr. Ingram, the capsules are a mystery to me, too. But I have a feeling about them. Something that the aliens said, and that I can't quite isolate. If you'd only permit me to examine them.
Under the circumstances, Professor, that's out of the question. I'm sure you understand.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor. Goodbye, Carl.
Professor, I do hope when all this is over, we will have an opportunity to talk. I'd be most grateful for your views on several ideas of mine.
And I, Doctor, would like to have your views on almost everything.
Thank you. You did say, didn't you, that there was no physical force capable of opening the box?
I did, but mind you, Doctor, it's only an old man's opinion.
Goodbye, Professor.
Time for your medicine, Professor.
Ah, chocolate.
That looks pretty good. Even at 4 o'clock in the morning.
What time is it?
11:15? Planning on going somewhere?
No. I just wondered if we couldn't get some news. We haven't heard anything about Professor Beckner for 2 days.
If he'd have told them anything, we'd have heard.
How long are we going to stay here, just hiding like hunted animals?
Look, I'm no Boy Scout doing this for kicks. You don't think I like hiding, do you? The funny thing, here I am, a newspaper man, sitting on the best story of my life, and I can't do anything about it.
Then why do we stay here?
Maybe for the first time in my life, I think enough about the next guy to do the right thing by him.
Maybe you're wrong.
Why don't you just keep doing what you're doing and don't try to judge me? I'm not interested in your opinion.
Well, I have a right to them.
But I don't think you do. As far as I'm concerned, you lost your rights when you threw those capsules away.
I think I would have thrown mine away.
I'm sorry.
Men commit a variety of crimes, and they always seem to have the same excuse. We've been here 10 days, and we've managed to disagree on every one of them.
It's normal. Take two strangers, put them in close quarters, have them clean, cook, talk. Actually, we've had all the disadvantages of marriage without any of the advantages.
Jonathan, stop.
But it's true.
It's time I went to bed. Sleep well.
Well, at some point, somebody's got to just find them there.
Jonathan,
Yeah?
were you in the last war?
It is like a horse racetrack, I think.
Were you a determined soldier?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you had an objective to take, were you always successful?
Uh-huh.
That's nice.
What'd you say?
I said good night.
Hudson Hospital.
Evening. Good evening. I'm Dr. Stephen Meisner. Dr. Hawkins and I have been asked to examine Professor Beckner.
Sorry, Doctor, we've got orders known as to Professor Beckner.
I think this will supersede any previous orders. This is Kelly. Give me a check on license New York 5F9836.
Well, I guess I can't argue with this. Go ahead, Doctor.
Thank you.
So that character on the phone is familiar to me, but I don't know who he is. But he's been around the character actor business.
Who's that just went in? Dr. Stephen Meisner.
Meisner's home in bed. Come on.
I do not have it. I tell you, they took it away from me. The box, Professor. I don't even know where the box is. You must believe me.
Oh, all kinds of gunplay.
You two all right?
Yes, but who were they?
I think we could both make a pretty good guess.
Beckner was unharmed and is resting comfortably. The official bulletin said merely that two unidentified men were shot and killed last night in an attempt on Professor Beckner's life. But it is widely assumed that the two would-be assassins were foreign agents attempting to recover the mysterious box believed to have been given Beckner while on the alien spaceship.
Oh. Watchmen.
The search for Jonathan Clark still goes on without success. The federal authorities are repeating their warnings. People are not to take the law into their own hands. In the past 48 hours, one man answering the description of Jonathan Clark has already been killed. Remember, Clark is only in contempt for refusal to obey a congressional summons to surrender to the authorities.
You're no more to blame for the panic in the world than any of the rest of us. We all avoided our responsibility by running away from it.
I really thought there would be more outer space and flying saucers to this movie.
Maybe a man can be so pig-headed wrong he can't see the truth even when it's spelled out for him.
I I wouldn't have much respect for a man who wasn't pig-headed when he was sure he was right.
A man like that could be dangerous.
Maybe.
When the alien first gave us these capsules, I thought the whole thing was preposterous. It seemed pretty obvious that all we had to do was to keep them hidden until the 27 days were up. Well, even the Chinese girl and Ivan would have seen that. It was all too easy.
It would have been all right if the alien hadn't made the broadcast.
Yeah, but he did. And now we're being hunted like animals. They tried to kill Professor Beckner, and I hate to think what may be happening to Ivan and the Chinese girl.
Do you think if Ivan talks, his government would use the weapon?
They might. They've been racing to see who could discover the most powerful weapon of war. Compared to this, the hydrogen bomb is a toy. Now both nations have the ultimate weapon. I tried to stay out of it by hiding. For instance, I had a very strong conviction that there wasn't a woman alive who could make me fall in love.
What did you say?
It's a miserable way to find out, isn't it?
It's a miserable way to say it.
Maybe someday I could say it better.
Of course.
You're sure it isn't just all this?
I'm sure.
For so little time. Only a few days. Maybe even less.
I know.
Here comes somebody. So this looks like military security. It looked like.
You know, it's not going to be so easy to give ourselves up. We just can't walk into town and say, here we are.
And it appears to be a
What about the guard?
Kentucky
No.
Derby or something.
When we give ourselves up, I want a lot of authority around. Come on.
The old cars. Oh, that's a Buick, I think. The old late 50s cars. Like something.
Good morning. I'm Jonathan Clark.
Oh, they're just giving themselves up. And now we go back to this poor guy.
His mind will clear?
For a time. To administer pentothal after only 5 days. You can question him, sir, but you understand his condition.
Ivan, there is no need to be frightened. I know now you wanted only to protect us from the horrors of war. Is that not so? Yet you have failed. The imperialist nations have pooled the aliens' weapons. We find ourselves defenseless unless you can help us, Ivan. You and you alone can save your people from destruction. Your father gave his life in the defense of his country. I have here a letter from your mother. She wants you to ensure that your father's life was not given in vain. Help us, Ivan. If you should have a relapse, we would be at the mercy of our enemies.
I'll tell you everything.
So, yeah, again, the alien explained in the beginning what these would do, and maybe I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, I'm still really not getting it. Maybe I
But we
wasn't paying
can't just sit
attention
here
enough
and do
at the
nothing
beginning.
now that we know that Ivan has put the weapon in the hands of his government.
Are you proposing that we use ours? That would be the first step in fulfilling the aliens' plan.
Alien, all this nonsense about their high morality. Well, it's double talk. They give us a weapon and they expect us to use it. And yet they give the impression that they hope we won't. Morality. Well, if they're so full of morals and loving kindness, how come they just happen to have 15 nice, shiny human exterminators lying around?
Since the first men hit one another with clubs, the human race has spent more time destroying itself than in any other endeavor. But the aliens have not tried to judge us. They have merely intensified our choice. A choice that has faced us since the first atomic bomb.
Now, with them, it's not so much a choice as it is an ultimatum.
I think we are all missing a significant point.
What's that, Professor?
If we were a stable, mature people, this would be almost nothing. The alien would have presented us with the capsules, and we, upon returning to Earth, would have promptly tossed them into the nearest sewer.
Or the nearest ocean.
Instead, we returned to Earth terrified. Why? Because we knew that the human race could not be trusted to handle these bombs any more than an undisciplined child could be trusted with a high-powered rifle.
That still doesn't help us to know what to do.
If only they'd let me work on the capsules. But they are even afraid of me.
You have an idea?
I do not pretend to know how the capsules operate, but if only I could get my hands on one of them, perhaps...
Perhaps what?
It's just a feeling that I know something. Or I ought to know it.
Would you come with me, please? We're wanted at the Pentagon.
Coffee almost gone. The Pentagon.
Our government is seriously concerned that other powers have succeeded where we have failed. We were hoping, now that there seems to be no further need for concealment, that one of you might enlighten us.
Amazing.
You said it couldn't open.
I remember the part
no
where
physical force on Earth could have opened this particular
he
box.
has to do it with his
Only
mind.
my mental projection.
Yeah.
By the same token,
But then what happens
no one
after
but
you
Ivan
get in there?
Vodovsky could have opened his box.
Ugh.
They are keyed to the electrical
Guess
impulses.
I need to go back
of their
and rewatch
possessors.
this again.
Well, then their story is true.
It is true.
Agreed. But what about
Wait
their
till the
claim
end and
that
see
their
how it
capsules
ends.
have destructive powers within a radius of 1,500 miles? 3 capsules, then, will be able to destroy every vestige of human life on the North American continent, from Panama to Hudson Bay. Can anyone believe that?
I do remember that part.
Believe
The
that such
aliens
energy is
said.
contained in a cylinder smaller than the cup of my fountain pen? A cylinder that will understand instructions like a robot? I cannot.
Then why should the alien give them to us in the first place?
What better way to start a war here on Earth than to place these boxes in our hands? And let us believe they will do everything the alien says they will.
If you are right, Dr. Newhouse, it's almost too clever. The only way we can check the truth of the alien's words is to test one of the bombs. And, of course, that's out of the question.
I'm not so sure. There is an area of more than 3,000 miles diameter off the east coast of South America. The test could be conducted at sea.
You forget, Admiral, this test requires a human life. We cannot put a human being within the area when we have every reason to believe that his life might be the price of our mistake.
Gentlemen, much of our concern may be unnecessary. Remember, there are still 12 days. If I could have the capsules long enough to examine them, study them thoroughly, perhaps there is another way.
That decision I cannot make. However, I suggest we adjourn for the present.
Squeaky chair.
We'll be notified of a future meeting. You?
Gentlemen, I am prepared to destroy all life on the North American continent if the Americans do not withdraw from Europe and Asia and confine themselves to continental United States.
Sir,
This will mean a war that could finish us as well as them.
There will be no war, Marshal. If I launch these 3 capsules, they will not have one single person left alive to give orders and none to carry them out. Where is your war then, Marshal?
But if they strike first...
The lessons of history have been wasted on you, Marshal. Democracies are appeasers. And the Americans in particular cannot be provoked into a war. They must be bombed into it.
They will do something, sir.
Of course, they will threaten and bluster and make angry speeches. And they will end doing just as we ask. I shall read to you the ultimatum, which has already been delivered to the United States. Demand is hereby made for the immediate withdrawal of all American forces and civilians on land, sea, and air to within the limits of continental United States.
On pain of total war. Such withdrawal is to begin within 48 hours of the moment this document is placed in the hands of the government of the United States.
This is not their people speaking. It is one man.
Well, we can't accept it. If we pull everything back home, we've piled our potential where he can destroy us with a single blow.
If we can start the evacuation within the time limit, seeming to be complying with their demands, they might not use the weapons until it's too late.
But what about my suggestion? If the boxes do not actually contain weapons, we are giving up the world for nothing.
If you would only permit me to examine the capsules, I have an idea that...
I'm sorry, Professor. Approval has been given to your suggestion, Admiral, and the test site.
Most of the equipment is readily available. If we flew out of here tonight, we could start the test by the day after tomorrow.
We still have the problem of a test subject. So as not to alarm the public, the test must be conducted in absolute secrecy. For this reason, and even more compelling moral ones, we cannot use condemned criminals or even ask for volunteers. I must admit to being...
Gentlemen, I'm your test subject. As soon as I heard of the ultimatum, I subjected myself to a fatal overdose of gamma radiation. You can check my statement with a radiation counter if you wish.
But Dr. Newhouse...
I realized that you would not accept me if I volunteered, so decided to place you in a position where you could not refuse.
I'm getting tired.
You see, although I'm born in Germany, I reside in Missouri. I have to be shown.
Morning nap.
Carl, the forfeiture of a life such as yours.
I'm not at all sure the test will be successful. But if
Hours
it is,
before the sun will
then
come
what is
up.
one life against millions?
So this movie should be over in about 15 minutes.
Stop all engines.
Aye, aye, sir.
Can't wait to see what the end is going to be like. They said this seemed like kind of a cheesy movie. I think it's kind of borderline on that subject. It just didn't
Ship's on
have
station,
enough
Admiral. Thank you, Captain.
outer space and flying saucer.
Now, this is the limit of the radiation radius.
Thus far.
Dr. Newhouse is here, just within the limit. Our position is here, 1 mile outside the radius.
Sir, he's coming through.
So who is that? Is that their... Oh, that's, yeah, that guy. Okay. I know who that is.
Professor, it's time.
That's the one person they need out there. The sacrifice, I guess you might call it.
Won't open. I know what it is, Jonathan. I do not really want the box to open.
Radiation poisoning is a pretty terrible way to die.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't do it.
Latitude 71 degrees, 25 minutes, 13 seconds south. Longitude 150 degrees, 14 minutes, 18 seconds east.
I am still confused. I am confused.
At midnight tonight, the 27 days will be over.
They've almost won.
Nothing.
Or we're on the verge of annihilation. If you were to launch the bombs against someone, when would you do it?
At the last possible moment, so that your enemies have no chance of striking back.
Exactly. It is my firm conviction that unless something happens to prevent it, the weapons behind the Iron Curtain will be launched. It is a question of life or death. No. Not life or death. Life and death.
What do you mean?
I think I have the answer.
What is the question? I'm sorry, maybe I'm just so tired and sleepy.
I must have your capsules. I need a complete set. There is some message on them.
I will
it's
try
in a
to
mathematical code. Jonathan, you
time.
simply must let me have yours.
Klaus, I don't think I can do that.
But you must. Don't you understand? The alien has put some kind of message on them. I think I know what it may be, but I cannot be sure without the third. Please have the box brought here, and then decide.
Admiral, will you please have the capsule sent here?
Captain? You see, the etchings. I transferred them to clay. I made reliefs from the two that were left, but the message is incomplete.
And these hieroglyphics really mean something to you.
They are mathematical symbols, some of which I have never encountered before. But in mathematics, there is always a solution. Eventually, I am sure I will be able to decipher them. Jonathan, there are only 5 hours left. And now I must be left alone. Please.
Doc, I hope you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
Yeah, I hope so, too. I hope I have a little bit better understanding of what's going on.
I just can't get over the feeling that this whole thing is unreal. A kind of hideous joke. Dr. Newhouse's death, the spaceship, the alien.
It still all could
2
be
weeks
a
of
bad
housekeeping in
dream.
a tack room.
Somebody's happened.
And now this aimless cruising about in the middle of nowhere, while the world goes to pieces. It all seems so hopeless.
It's supposed to have a purpose. If Ivan were to launch his capsules and we were all in Washington, there'd be no way of striking back.
Maybe there's a kind of weird justice in all this.
What do you mean?
Maybe the heavens have had enough of us. Maybe they've decided we don't deserve what we've got. Maybe people really aren't worth saving.
I don't know. There are a lot of nice ones around.
Oh, I gotta wake up before I fall asleep. Last of the coffee.
These are our targets.
Hey, I live
2
there.
minutes. Everything is prepared.
Our troops will move the moment the third capsule is released.
Soon the world will be ours. Latitude, 29 degrees, 45 minutes, 26 seconds north. Longitude, 95 degrees, 21 minutes.
Is he gonna go for his gun?
Fools, don't shoot!
Oh, throw him out the window.
If he dies, the capsules are useless. Look after him!
Latitude 45 degrees, 4 minutes, 23 seconds north.
Listen.
12 minutes, 12 seconds east.
Professor! Oh, stop! Professor Beckner!
Latch from the inside.
Professor Beckner! Professor!
Latitude 55 degrees, 45 minutes, 18 seconds north.
What is going on? Spinning my thoughts.
Longitude
This whole
37
movie,
degrees,
honestly.
37 minutes, 14 seconds east.
Professor! Oh, stop! Professor Beckner! Oh. Professor! Oh, stop! Professor Beckner! Professor! Where are the capsules? Answer me, Klaus. Where are they?
I've launched them. I've blanketed the world.
Then the capsules didn't work.
Of course. If they had, we'd all be dead by now.
I think they worked. I think they worked very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The bulletin we've been waiting for. Scientists believe we have been bombarded by invisible rays from outer space. Reports pouring in from all over the globe confirm sudden and unexplainable deaths. All the cases have shown the same symptoms. All heard a high-pitched, almost supersonic noise, accompanied by acute agony and severe shock, and followed by death. I know it's unbelievable, fantastic, but the rays appear to have killed every person throughout the world known to have been a confirmed enemy of human freedom. Yes, the entire world is now united in a spiritual unity unparalleled in its history. There are those who might say it can't last, but let us pray it does.
Thank God. Unlike you, Jonathan, I never believed that the alien was acting in bad faith.
But what gave you the idea the capsules could be altered?
Yesterday morning, in my excitement, I used the phrase life or death, remember?
We both thought you'd gone a little crazy.
Aboard the spaceship, the alien said you hold in your hands the power of life and death. He might have meant that the capsules could bring us life as well as death.
And on evidence like that, you launched the capsules.
Yes. You see, almost every form of energy, fire, electricity, nuclear fission, has two diametrically opposed uses. As an asset for peace or a weapon of war, for good or for evil. The capsules followed the pattern. They had to. The alien was incapable of giving us a weapon only for destruction.
I suppose we should be happy, but I can't help thinking what victory for us means in terms of the alien.
Yes, I cannot imagine a greater tragedy. Not only for them, but for us.
Why for us?
We made contact with the stars. How many years may pass by before this can happen again? Think of all the knowledge they could give us if we could help them.
But must we lose? We have vast uninhabited areas, jungles, deserts, polar caps. We can't use them, but maybe they can.
But there's no time.
There are still 8 days.
Klaus, as long as this feeling lasts on Earth, there are no boundaries between nations. No fear, no suspicion.
Perhaps, yes, perhaps it could be done.
Admiral?
Excuse me. Thank you, Captain. The captain has orders to rendezvous with the carrier. You, Miss Wingate, Mr. Clark, will be flown back to Washington immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need not remind any of you that for the past 24 hours we have been broadcasting our invitation to the alien over all available wavelengths in the hope that every human being within reach of a radio receiver may hear his reply. If we succeed in contacting him, we have asked that he answer our invitation at midnight. As of 5 minutes ago, every radio and television broadcast went off the air to ensure clear reception. Since Professor Klaus Beckner has been almost the sole instrument in bringing us together here in complete harmony for the first time in history, it is only just that he should extend the final invitation. Professor Klaus Beckner. Go ahead, Professor.
People from space, this is Earth. The people of Earth calling. We offer you our hospitality and our sanctuary for as long as you may need it. We offer you trust and hope now and in the future. This invitation comes from every nation and every race on the planet Earth. If you hear us, we ask you to reply in 15 seconds.
People of Earth, we accept your invitation. We come in gratitude and love. We bring you greetings from 30,000 intelligent worlds, and to tell you they're waiting to greet you among the stars.
All right, the end. All right, well, I really didn't know what was going on in this movie, and I still don't. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. As I said a couple of times now, it was missing the flying saucers and the outer space stuff. But yeah, I just don't really get exactly what they were doing. But now it seems like Earth has been saved, and the aliens are going to work with us, so that's good, I guess. So, yeah, comment down below. Tell me if I'm missing something here. I should rewatch this movie again, and maybe things will be a little bit clearer, and pay a little pay attention a little bit more. So that's my first time watching this movie from 1957. Hope you enjoyed, and please like and subscribe, and we'll be back with another sci-fi movie very, very soon. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.